Welcome back to Wrestling with Horror. My name is Andrew Dreamer, and today we are continuing our journey into darkness as we continue to look at the original movie and popular horror franchises. So today, this one was requested a little while ago after one of the earlier videos in this series, but today we are looking at 1992's Candyman. I know it's taken me a little longer than I anticipated to get this review out, but here we are. So let's get going. As I said, this film was released in 1992, and it stars Tony Todd as the titular character, Candyman. Now, a lot of people probably think of this movie as kind of just your run-of-the-mill slasher film, and it's anything but. I'll just be quite honest. It's not a generic slasher film with no substance or development of character or anything like that. It's a lot more than that, actually. So this film follows a grad student named Helen, played by Virginia Madsen, who is sort of out to debunk the Candyman myth. Everybody knows of the myth of the Candyman in this universe. You say his name 5 times in the mirror and he comes to get you. He has a hook for a hand, he can summon bees, and he's a scary dude. But she does not believe. She is very skeptical and just kind of laughs at it, honestly. She scoffs at it. So when she goes, along with one of her friends, to this building in Chicago to investigate where somebody was killed, she decides to say the name 5 times. Her friend stops at the 4th time and doesn't say the 5th one, but Helen says it the 5th time. And from here on out, she is then stalked and tormented by Candyman. He shows up out of nowhere. He begins killing people. And now these deaths aren't super visceral or bloody or gory. Now there is gore in this movie, but it's not as gory as some things. But he starts killing these people, and just like, you would expect, the police think that it's her. They think that she's the one murdering these people, that she's kidnapped this baby. And that could be anything. It couldn't be farther from the truth. When, in fact, we know that it's actually Candyman. There's actually a scene where she gets taken to a psych ward after just so many instances of her seeming psychotic that she's strapped down to the bed, and we see Candyman levitate above her. And it's actually a very cool moment. It's very interesting to think how they could have shot that. But we see him levitating over her. Then later on, she has a meeting with her psychiatrist where he tells her that she's been there a month, and it's just, it's for us, it's just instantaneous. It's like she just got there. But then he shows her footage of her in that bed on that first night she was there, and there's no Candyman floating there. She decides that she's going to prove that he's real by saying his name 5 more times into a mirror when he appears and kills her psychiatrist and then frees her. She escapes the institution. She goes back to her apartment where she finds her husband, who is a professor at the school that she attends, living with one of his other students. And she probably should have seen it coming, how he was flirting with her and she was flirting with him earlier in the movie. However, she's here, and from here, just the story plays out in such a unique way. With this review, I don't want to give away a lot of details on it. I don't want to say too much because I think this is a movie that you actually need to go experience for yourself. I don't want to give away the ending for those of you who haven't seen it, because this was a first-time watch for me. I'll just be honest. I know that was a glaring hole in my horror education for a long time, but I finally watched it, and I'm very glad I did, because going in, I wasn't sure what to expect. I wasn't prepared for the type of movie that we actually got. It was very good. I'm super glad that I watched it. My only regret is not watching it sooner. And of course, Tony Todd is an icon, and he does a fantastic job in everything he's in. Other things that you might have seen him in include the Hatchet series in the first few movies as Reverend Zombie. He's also in the Final Destination series as the coroner. Now, he's got a lot of other credits under his belt, obviously, but this one's different. This one is more, I don't really want to say heartfelt, but it's more meaningful. It packs more of a punch, and it's really trying to say something. And I'm not experienced or knowledgeable enough to really speak on the themes of this film, but it's definitely trying to say something, and I think it accomplishes what it's trying to say very well. During my research for this, I was watching the dead meat kill count for Candyman, and he mentioned that there were a lot of essays and articles online that talk about this kind of thing with the movie. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely go give those a look. It's going to be worth it for you. But again, that's all that I really needed to mention about this movie. I don't want to say a whole lot more. I don't. I want people to enjoy this movie and just experience it without having anything spoiled for them if they haven't had any experience with it at all so far. My negatives for the film, there are very few. Um, I wish there was a little bit more blood. Some of the kills were a little off screen for my taste, but that's not. You can't really knock the film for that too much. Honestly, other than that, I don't think I really have any negatives for the movie that I really want to mention at the moment. But this is the film that was positioned in the early 90s. The 90s were a very, very low period of horror for that first half of the decade. And this film is actually one that stands out as a very good example of what horror could be in that decade. Now, this is obviously pre Scream when the entire horror genre would be turned on its head and reinvigorated. Now, I'm not going to be covering Candyman 2 or 3 or the remake. Maybe down the road I'll do that. But from what I've heard, they kind of turn into generic slasher films from here on out. So I don't know that I really want to experience that right this moment. But that's all I wanted to talk about with this review. Again, if you have any other ideas for movies that you want to see me review, any wrestling ideas that you want to see me cover on this channel, please let me know down in the comments. Let me know in the comments as well what you think about Candyman. Do you like the character? Do you like his hook for a hand? Do you like his use of bees? Let me know. Let's talk about it. And I've mentioned it before, but you can go now to prowrestlingtees.com/Andrew Dreamer to grab your very own Wrestling with Horror t-shirt. It's a white t-shirt with our logo right on the front. It looks really good, and I think you should go grab one. If you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button, turn your notification bell on so you never miss a video from Wrestling with Horror. My goal is still 160 subscribers by the end of the year, so please, please help me reach that goal. Hit that subscribe button. But that's all I needed to say today. My name is Andrew Dreamer, and I will see you next time on Wrestling with Horror.